a Nappy Hour. Nappy Hour. Nappy Hour.
Sorry, I'm just warming up my vocals. I don't have time for this. I don't have time. I've only got an hour to record this episode, then I need to get my son from nursery, so there's no fucking about today, okay? Let's get straight to it. Welcome back to the Nappy Hour, guys, a place where you tell me all about your fucked up. Why am I laughing? Sorry, I've just not done this in a while. I've not done it in a while, and I'm getting nervous. Welcome. Let's try that again. Sorry, one sec. Welcome back to the Nappy Hour, guys, a place where you tell me all about your fucked up lives and I tell everyone. Just like real friends. Did I say it wrong? So open your ears and let me fill them full of shit. Advice. Oh, blubbernette, guys. It's been a while, isn't it? Oops. Sorry about that, guys. It was meant to just be like a little Christmas break. Me just enjoying the Christmas holidays, having a little bit of time off, making social media content and all the rest of it and blah, blah, blah. And it just was a holiday that never ended. I was enjoying my Christmas break. I was just, what was I doing? Probably just eating lots of cheese and drinking lots of alcohol. And then I got pregnant in the new year. And that turned into me actually doing nothing but puking. And I couldn't think of anything worse than sitting down and working and making content because I was just on my ass. And here we are. I stopped puking, stopped being sick. And then I'm one of those girls. If you know me, you know me. Like, if there's something that important going on in my life, whether I want to do it or not, like tax returns or something that I actually genuinely want to do like this, or seeing my friends or anything really. If it's important, I will, instead of like attacking the situation, just like doing it, I will instead dig a little hole in the sand and just place my enormous, beautiful, but enormous head in the hole and just wait there either until the thing just goes away or I die. And I haven't died yet. So I'm taking my head out of the sand and I'm doing this because I want to do it. But I feel like I've got the fear. All right, guys, I got the fear. I've got the fear of making content and podcasting and all the rest of it. And then I just found it too overwhelming. It's like this massive thing in my life that I genuinely do want to do, but now I've got the fear and then I just have to ignore it. And 6 months later, hello, is anyone there? Is anybody out there? Does anybody care anymore? We'll find out. This episode is supported by Nomcos, my favourite natural skincare brand. They started out with just lip balms, but have since expanded their range to face oils, deodorant, body butter, soaps. It's become your one-stop shop for natural self-care. If you look at the ingredients, you'll see there's no shit in it. It's all simple, whole ingredients that you can pronounce. And there's max like 5 things in a product. I could eat it if I needed to. I'm not going to. But I'm just saying, if I had to, I could. You know, when World War III breaks out, I'm not going hungry when I have my big tub of Nomcos body butter. I don't think I can legally recommend that you do that. But just saying, if you ran out of beans and bread during a lockdown, you ain't starving with Nomcos around. That should be their new slogan. Nomcos, good enough to eat. Please don't eat it. But if you did, you're not going to die. I've been using their deodorant for months now. It comes in a little pot and I've only used a tiny amount. So the full pot should last me at least a year. You only need a pea-sized amount. It goes on so smoothly and genuinely works. Throughout this pregnancy, I've been using their body and bump butter. It's all I've been using all over my body. I lather up like a salmon every night and I wake up so smooth. Naturally, I am a crusty girl. I don't know why. I drink loads of water, but I'm just a crusty, dusty girl. So this has changed my life and it's great to know, there's no nasty ingredients. It's good shit that's going on my skin. So use my code Miranda10 for 10% off at checkout. That's Miranda10 for 10% off at checkout. It was also the kind of like the guilt of the amount of work that my husband has to do towards this podcast, because like he's been busy. He has been busy boobops, working his little bum off for the family. And then he actually like does quite a lot of work for this podcast. He lights it, he sets it up, he charges all the gear for it, he grades it, he syncs the audio, he does the thumbnail. And when I say this boy is busy, he doesn't even have time for a little fart in the morning. Like, he's busy. And then what am I going to knock on his office door and be like, sorry, babe, I know you've got literally 20 million things to do today, but can you also set up the podcast for me and grade it and light it and do the thumbnail and all the rest of the things that you do for it? Yeah, thank you. For free. Thank you, babe. Thank you. Just sounded a little bit rude, you know? So he's now in a little bit more of a chilled zone with his work, and I feel like I can put this extra weight on his back now, and he's carrying it like a champ. Thanks, babe. So anyway, we are back. I am pregnant, hence the rocking chair. You know, I love the beanbag, but I am too fat to fit in a beanbag right now. I would never get out of that thing. I'd have to army roll out of it and ask for help. The neighbours would have to come in and lift me up. I'm just too pregnant for that. So we've upgraded to a rocking chair. I'm living my granddad life. I have the footstool that also rocks. Yep. This rocking chair, I mean, I've put the brakes on. Yes, it's got brakes and pockets and a headrest. But I put the brakes on today, so I just thought it would be a bit distracting for you guys, for me swinging from A to B. But we are comfortable. I'm living my granddad life. Growing older is just slowly realizing that your grandparents were right about everything. You know, Skechers, slippers, eye masks, rummy cub, and rocking chairs. Oh, and farting unselfconsciously when you walk up the stairs. Was that anyone else's granddad? My granddad would literally parp all the way up to the top of the stairs, and we'd all sit there in the living room like, right, that's granddad. Off he goes, parping away. Also, the beanbag is kind of icking me out right now, because we had my father-in-law come and stay with his dog, and he used that beanbag as a dog bed. And every time I sit on it, I just smell dog, and I come away and I'm covered in dog hairs, and I'm just like, no. Speaking of dogs, actually, I'm never, ever, ever having a dog in this house ever again. I watched Tesco's life flash before my eyes when I say this dog had Tesco's throat in her mouth. Thought, we've lost her here. Luckily, she survived. We managed to get the dog off the cat, but the cat did disappear for a good 2 or 3 days. I was very worried about her. Luckily, she's back. She's fine. She's a little bit traumatized, but she is in one piece. This dog has a literal court order against it. Like, it should never have been in my house in the first place. But you know, when people are funny about their dogs, aren't they? They just assume their dogs are always invited everywhere. This is why I really respect when you get like a wedding invite and it says on the invite, like, we love your little ones with all of our heart, just not enough to see them on our big day. Gotta respect it. I honestly feel like dog owners are more offended when their dog isn't invited to something versus their child isn't invited to something. Like, when they get an invite and their kids aren't invited, they're like, oh yeah, thank God. I don't want my whinging crazy kid running around wearing their pants and causing havoc. But my dog isn't invited. That, I'll have you know, that is a member of my family. I'm trying to think of like life updates for you guys, but it's been so fucking long. I genuinely don't know. Like, when someone's like, oh, how's your week? I look back and I'm like, I have no memory. Like, you tell me how my week was. I don't fucking know. So let alone 6 months. Like, how do I even where do we even start? I guess we can, well, I'm so hungry. Can you hear my tummy rumbling? I guess we could start with pregnancy stuff. You know, there's lots to talk about, the pregnancy, but I guess we'll just talk gradually. We'll catch up weekly as we go with the pregnancy. I guess we could start with just like talking about age gaps, because I've had a lot of people ask me like, why now? Because I know you didn't feel ready beforehand. So why do you feel ready now? And for anyone that doesn't know, so when Woody was 18 months old, I actually got pregnant and I ended up having an abortion, and I spoke about it very publicly. And because I've had 2 abortions previous to that one when I was very young. And I didn't talk about them, didn't tell my friends or family, just sort of went through in sort of silence and felt very isolated in that experience. And I know that lots of other women go through abortions and they also feel isolated. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to open up the conversation, help other women if they feel alone in their experience, and to just normalize abortions in your 30s, because you don't often hear about women who are married and in a stable, loving relationship not feeling ready to give birth. Like, society tells you that that is what you're here to do. So I think lots of women feel deep shame for not being able to do that. So I decided to talk about it quite publicly. Basically, I had a very traumatic birth experience with Woody, and I did not feel like physically or emotionally ready to have to give birth again. And I had to face those fears, and I just wasn't ready. Was not ready to face the fears yet. Was not ready to truly deal with that big issue, my big fear of giving birth. I felt like I had just got my relationship, my resentment, everything sort of in order. And I didn't want to fuck that all up again. Like, I was really scared of taking myself back to the start again. And I just wasn't ready for that. You know, not only like internally was I not ready, but physically, you know, we lived in a tiny flat. We had no money, no room. We were moving across the country to a new town with no friends, no support network. And the thought of having a baby in that situation, I just thought, I know me. I'm going to get depressed. And I just don't want that for myself. So everything said, now is not the right time. Apart from my ovaries was like, now's the right time. But everything else said, this is absolutely not the right time to bring another life into this family. So I had an abortion. Cut to 2 years later, and I am finally feeling ready. I feel ready to face my fears. We have this house, we are settled, we have loving and good people around us. And I finally feel able to tackle my fear of giving birth, pregnancy and birth. So you might be wondering how I got to that point, because I know if you are in the depths of dealing with, you know, your traumatic birth and you think, you know, I'm never ever doing that again, or how can I do that again? Or I don't want to do that, but I know I have to do that again. I want to let you know how I got to this point. One, I do think is time. You know, your brain is amazing and it will help you forget. Those chemicals are very powerful. But two, I've also done a lot of work on healing myself from that experience. So let's talk about it. Can you hear my stomach going absolutely biscuits right now? That's crazy. So first thing I did, I had hypnotherapy. I had about 10 to 15 sessions of hypnotherapy with a really, really fantastic therapist. Now, it wasn't just talking therapy. She actually gave me tools and we did exercises together to basically tackle the trauma of the birth and all my issues around it, my anger, my resentment, my sadness. She had me play back my birth like I was watching a movie. And she had me play it again and again and again. And she went to we went to the scariest parts and she had me watch it back and just on repeat. And it made it feel way less scary, I guess is the only way. Not to the point where I could be like happy about it, but to the point where I could be like, what's the word? Neutral. The word is neutral that I'm looking for. Not to the point where I feel happy about it, but to the point where I felt neutral about the actual experience. Next, what I've really enjoyed doing is just like re-educating myself on the power of the female body, on the process of labor and birth, actually what happens. I think because I got in my head so much with certain fears that weren't really based on any facts. They were just like irrational fears, but I made them factual in my head. And so it's been really nice to note what they are and actually go and look at the facts. So I've noted down a couple of my fears in my notes. So let me read them off for you guys. So my first fear was my hips are too small to birth. And that's just the way, evolution has made me that way. And, I would have died in childbirth in the wild because of my physiology. That's just my anatomy. That's just bad luck, I guess. My partner won't advocate for me in ways that I need him to. I could get coerced into medicalizing my birth again. I'm not strong enough for a home birth. Like, am I a quitter? I think I came out with that fear that I just wasn't mentally or physically strong enough for a home birth. And there was like a part of me that was angry at myself for quitting and going into hospital. And also, it was my fault in some way that my birth went so wrong. Now, it's been really nice reading, re-educating myself and myth-busting all of those fears this second time round. So let's go through those fears and then I can tell you what I've learned and then why I know them not to be true now, just in case that is helpful to any mums that are wanting to get pregnant but are scared. So firstly, hips. So I don't know where I learned this from. I think it's just something that we get told when we're younger and we just internalize it and we truly believe it to our core without actually doing any research ourselves. So you would have probably learned this as well. We were quadrupedal, i.e. on all fours, and then we evolved to stand up, and then our hips got smaller and they got too small to birth our babies, and that's why so many women die in childbirth. Now, that is just one man's theory, like over 100 years ago, not based on any research or facts or anything. It's just one man's theory. And for some reason, I have believed that my whole entire life. And because I have the natural body shape of someone that has smaller hips, I don't have like these big, wide, womanly, sexy hips. I'm not exactly Shakira in the hip department. Okay, so I think I have this like internalized fear of my anatomy just not being adequate enough. But actually, all you have to do to disprove that is look at the variety of women's bodies. Women that have small hips have positive births. Women that have wide hips have traumatic births. There's no correlation. Surely if this man's theory was true, then all women with wide hips would have a nice, easy time in birth, and all women with small hips would have a terrible time. I have friends and family members that have had positive births, home births, unmedicated births with small hips. Like, it's actually just not true. I think there was like a part of me that felt like I should be grateful, even though I felt deeply, deeply traumatized and assaulted by my birth. I should feel grateful because without them, I would have died. But when I look back at my labor, I was laboring fine at home. I got told to go in for a precaution. They made it sound like it was really scary. Basically, like I had low platelets. They were like, if you cut, you're going to bleed out and hemorrhage and die. I was like, oh my God, I should go in then just in case I bleed out and hemorrhage and die. But like, I was laboring fine. I hadn't given birth. I hadn't bled yet. I was literally fine. And I was literally 2 minutes away from a hospital if anything did happen. And it's frustrating when you look at the history of birth and actually how it was taken over from women by men. And that is when the death rates for women skyrocketed, not because it was a failing in our bodies or an inadequacy in our bodies, but actually because the sanitation in hospitals was so terrible. It was not our bodies that was killing us, but it was actually, I think they called it childbirth fever. It was the doctors going around not washing their hands, touching diseased people, corpses, and then coming in and touching new mothers and then killing them. When I learned that, it was like a piece of the puzzle just like clicked, and I was like, oh yes, it's something in my mind and my body that I knew all along, but I just didn't let myself believe for some reason because of all this propaganda and fear mongering around birth. This podcast is supported by the beautiful Estrella custom jewelry, giving you minimal and meaningful personalized pieces. Everything is handmade in Portugal. It's a perfect gift either for yourself or someone that you love. When you go to our website, you can shop the collection and personalize your piece with a pendant, choosing the initial on it and the style as well as a stone. I have the emerald quartz gemstone, and I wear it every day. I've got a little pendant that says a W on for Woody. I wear it every day. It's become my favorite staple necklace. It's just so simple. It's classy. It's classic. And I never take it off. Use the code NappyHour15 for 15% off at checkout. So midwives, I mean, I didn't know this, but midwives were like the wise woman in the village. And there wasn't a school. It was just like information passed down from word of mouth and experience and apprenticeships and all of that. Obviously, fucking most of those women were burned at the stake for being witches. So all this information was lost. And it's such a shame that now we've become so disconnected and actually taught to fear birth and our bodies because of the way that it's been mishandled by male-focused care. Now, I recently had a debrief with a midwife to talk about my birth, and she said, you know, there's no way in which your partner could have advocated for you in that situation because he was not given the correct information. You are not to make informed consent. The system is not set up to support parents in making informed consent. The system is set up so that we agree with the hospitals and go along with their interventions and what they want from our birth, rather, which is a live baby and a live mother, rather than a positive birth. What I also didn't really take into account in my first birth was how important it was for me to pass on all this information to Zach. You know, when you are faced with professionals in front of you who are qualified professionals, it is so easy to get coerced into something, whether that is a C-section, whether that is just that little clip that they do to monitor their heart rate that goes actually inside their scalp, but they won't tell you that. They'll say it's a clip, but it's actually a screw. Like whether it's vaginal examinations, it is so easy to get coerced into these situations by these medical professionals when both of you aren't totally educated on the system, or even when you step into a hospital, because that's that huge power imbalance. And I think I really, really felt that power imbalance the moment I got there. So after my first birth, me and Zach had like a real dissonance with how we felt the birth went. I felt traumatized. He felt traumatized, but also really, really grateful because he thought, well, we have a healthy baby and a healthy wife because of this doctor and what he did. Whereas I felt like my birth was totally hijacked because of them. You know, since I've been passing on information to him, his version of events has actually come a lot closer towards what my version of events are in that first birth. And just, I feel his support. I feel his advocacy already. And I just know that this time round, I will feel that in the moment as well. And it's been so healing for me to see him like step into that role. I don't know. It's been really, really healing. So my fear about being a quitter, this was like a massive one for me to tackle. I'd look at these mothers that had the birth that I wanted and I just think, well, they're stronger than me and I'm just a quitter. But when I look at my life, like I know that that isn't true. Like I've had challenges, I've overcome depression, I've healed from rape, I've had personal challenges in my own life that I know that I'm a person with grit. So I've had to really apply that to birth as well. Me stepping into hospital and saying yes to certain things wasn't a failing on my part. It was not a failing on Zach's part. It was a failing on the system, because the system is not set up for women to have positive births. If you are able to have a positive hospital birth, that is incredible. There's midwives that are fighting for you. They are fighting for you. They're going against what the system is necessarily telling them to do to provide you with a positive birth experience. So shout out to the midwives that were able to give you a positive birth. And I know there are probably midwives that are listening that are probably like, excuse me, I try my very best. And again, that is amazing. You are in a system that isn't necessarily allowing you or encouraging you to do the best by women, but you are still doing it. Amazing. We were talking about age gap. Let me circle back around. We're talking about age gap, why I've waited until, Woody will be 4 by the time this baby's born. So that is why it's taken this long. People that are going into the 2 under 2s, I just think, are you on drugs? Genuinely, are you on drugs? Because that is the only way that I would be able to survive that. Like, you're about to go into the terrible twos. We don't call it terrible twos anymore. It's called the big feelings twos. It's called the testing time twos. You're about to go into the terrible twos, and you are bringing a baby into that mix. I mean, praise be to you, my girl, but that is absolutely not for me. I came out that fucking phase with a couple of big feelings. I tell you, I hate those parents that sit there and be like, yeah, we never really felt that. We never really had the terrible two era. We never really felt that. Well, yeah, me neither. Me neither, actually. Well, you know what, bitch? It's coming for you. All right, it's coming for you, and it's coming for you hard. Us mums that struggled through the terrible twos, we had our little testing time, all right? I like to think that it has seasoned me for the rest of motherhood. Like, I'm a ninja. I can tackle anything now, okay? You can't see me right now. I'm in a ninja pose. That's how I feel going into this second baby. Like, I am fucking ready for anything. I know a girl that she got pregnant when her baby was 9 months old. Are you okay? Seriously, hun, are you all right? We haven't spoken in a while. Are you doing all right? Because if that was me, I would have ended up in the fucking priory, honestly. My mum nearly did with us as 3 kids. Bloody hell. We pushed my mother to the limits. Imagine this, right? My poor mum. Oh my God, my poor mum. 3 kids and a dog. Husband walks out. You're left with 3 kids and a dog. Genuinely, no. If that was me, I talk about this all the time, but like, if I had a button, boop, to end it all, I would. No drama, no pain, boop. I would have ended it right there and then. He walks out the door, boop. I have birthed these babies, and now you want me to raise them on my own, boop. You get back it, you do some fucking work. I've been a decaf girl for years now. I can't handle the anxiety. I can't handle what it does to my skin. But truth be told, I miss those caffeine poos. I miss feeling alert and ready to go. So when I heard about London Nootropics, I thought, surely not. Surely not. A coffee that has added adaptogens that prevent the cortisol spike found in normal coffees, e.g. the thing that makes you feel like your world is caving in and everyone hates you and your stomach is about to explode. But you still get the benefits of caffeine, e.g. the ability to get out of bed and feel alive after 10 wake-ups in the night. Thank you to your wonderful child. Or if you're pregnant like me and you are weeing every 15 minutes in the night. Oh, and you also have an almighty poo that sets you up for the day. I can't be the only person that is obsessed with their morning poo, can I? If I don't have a fulfilling morning poo, I will obsess over it for the rest of the day. It's going to be trouble. So I like to know before I leave the house that is done. And with London Nootropics, you can guarantee an almighty poo, but with no anxiety. I recognise I'm going for the niche market here by talking about almighty poos, but I assume that everyone loves a good poo in the morning, no? London Nootropics, get it while it's hot. When I say this coffee tastes like coffee, but it smells like chocolate, I feel like that's the only way I can describe it. It smells so good. It is the peak of my morning. When I get up, I just know I've got that cup of mojo waiting for me downstairs. And it's the only thing that's going to get me out of bed. Oh, that, and obviously my child needs me. Use my code MirandaFox20 at checkout for 20% off. Let's end this first episode with a dilemma. I've got one dilemma in the pocket for you right now, so let's get into it. This mummy says, help! My sister is pregnant and her partner is a prick. What do I do? I've never liked her partner. She's been with him for 2 years and they've never been good. Always had good weeks and then bad weeks and it's on and off. She never says anything nice about him and I just don't like how he's treating her. The other day, she texted me saying she's pregnant and I just didn't know what to say. I don't have any kids, but I'm pretty sure you need to be happy and stable before having children with someone. Do I have an intervention? Do I just smile and pretend to be happy for her? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Put that big fat smile on your face, baby girl. She's my little sister. I can't help but fall into the protective big sister role here. I just want to get him away from her, but is it too late? Just to clarify, he's not abusive, but I'm pretty sure he's unfaithful. He goes out a lot, doesn't tell her where he's going, he parties a lot, he gambles, does cocaine, and never prioritizes her. Oh gosh, okay. As hard as it is, you're going to have to shut the fuck up and just support. Shut the fuck up and just support her, all right? Some people might disagree here. I do think there's something to be said for, you can absolutely let her know how you feel, but I know you've already done that. I know for a fact over the last 2 years, you have let her know that you fucking hate his guts. When she calls you up, she's crying. She's like, oh, we've had another argument. I know you've not just been like, oh. I know you've been like, he's a fucking prick. You need to dump him, blah, 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 blah. So she knows that you don't like her. She knows that you do not support this little relationship. But now she's pregnant, all right? The egg has been inseminated. The fetus has been fetusing. What do you want her to do? She's pregnant. And obviously she is happy about it. So what are you going to do? You're going to get on that big fat smile and you're going to go and support her. You're going to be her biggest cheerleader. That is all you can do right now. I know loads of people that are in less than perfect relationships, and it's not our job to fix or change it. If they are our loved ones, we are just here to support. It's really hard to watch someone you love, especially your sister, get messed around by this dickhead boy. And I do, again, think it's important to be able to voice your opinion, which I would assume you've already done in the last 2 years. But your job is support. And sometimes the support needs to know when to shut the fuck up and just offer hugs and love when she needs it. Being in your situation, and I think we've probably all been in this situation at some point in our life with someone that we love in a shitty relationship, it can be like watching a slow motion car crash. Like this person that you love is in this car and they are smiling and they are just heading face first into oncoming traffic, and you're just watching it in slow motion. Now, it can be tempting to scream out, "Stop! Turn around! Don't do that!" And you can scream and you can shout, and you end up getting really frustrated because guess what? She ain't going anywhere. She's going forward, whether you scream and shout or not. And sometimes when we're on the sideline screaming, shouting, "What the fuck are you doing? Don't do that. You shouldn't do that." What she's actually going to do is say a big fuck you and step on the accelerator and go even faster. She's pregnant, and the last thing that she needs right now is you filling her head with anxiety and fear, because she's pregnant. She's obviously happy about it. She will most likely go through with the pregnancy, and the last thing that she needs is for her big sis, who she loves and admires, to be filling her head with anxiety and fear about her baby daddy, when deep down she already knows. She already knows, but what do you want her to do? You need to start thinking, instead of like, how can I get her out of the situation, to just be like, how can I show up for her in this moment? How can I make sure mine and her relationship is an ultimate safe zone so that she always feels loved and cherished and supported and welcomed whenever things hit the fan? And that's not easy. That is not easy. It's much, much easier to sit and scream and shout and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't do this. Please don't do this. He's a shitty guy. That's much easier, but it's wasted breath. In an ideal world, every mother is supported by a loving, present father, partner, and father as well. That would be nice. That would be nice. But no, partner. And, that's more often not the case, but the mums are still out here doing it. They're still out here thriving and doing it, and the kids are thriving. The important thing for you is to not get frustrated when she doesn't take your advice. Sometimes it's just better, because when you are giving someone advice and trying to get them out of a shitty situation, but they're not taking the advice, it can be frustrating. Then you end up wanting to just push them away because it's like, they're not listening to me. What you need to keep reminding yourself is, it's not about you. It's not your experience. Yeah, it might be annoying for you to be on the sidelines watching it, but you aren't actually in it, living it. She is living it. And so rather than judging her or getting frustrated or wanting to have an intervention or fix it in some way, you just have to be there to love and support. It's my life, don't you forget. Something like that, right? If you look at the stats, 50% of marriages end in divorce anyway. So most likely they're going to break up, and you won't have to deal with him, and she won't have to deal with him any longer. And hopefully she'll find a much nicer guy that loves her and cherishes her and doesn't, gamble or shove his wage up his nose and his head up his arse. And on that positive, inspiring note, we are going to leave it there. And I'm going to get my son from nursery. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to the brands that are supporting this podcast. Nomcos and Estrella, we love you. When you buy from these brands, you are not only supporting me, but also mums, as both these brands are founded by mothers. So when you shop with them, you are directly saying a big fuck you to the patriarchy. And what's better than that? You can also support me directly by following the link in the description box and buying me a coffee. You can donate the amount of a coffee, but really there is no limit to the amount that you can donate. So you can either buy me a coffee or you can buy me a new car. And please remember, it is not the price of coffee in my hometown, which is often, £1.50. I live in Blackpool. But it is in fact, the majority of my listeners are in London. So a price of a coffee in London is about £7 nowadays, all right? So remember, it's the price of coffee in London, not in Blackpool. Thank you again for your patience. I love you. Have a beautiful day. Mwah!